Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trevor. Really grateful to have you here. And today's video, I am bringing you my top 10 recommendations for the month of July. So these were some of my favorite picks and what I enjoyed reaching for this past month in 2023. Some of the key notes that are going to be standing out in this list are going to be citrus, aquatic, ambergris or salty accords, and then tropical accords, you know, like coconut and pineapple, those kind of fragrant notes that evoke that beachy theme. So July's really my sort of aquatic, beachy sort of epitome month. That is the time where I really like to reach for those poolside fragrances, those ones that help cool me off in the extreme high heat, and the ones that play very well in the high heat, high humidity combination. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into the list here, starting off with the number 10 spot, and that is going to be somewhat of a hidden gem. This is 1920, the Origin Eau de Toilette from the Spanish house of Tous. So this fragrance right here is inspired by from Issey Eau Fraiche. Now I did finally get a chance to get my nose on that fragrance. I got a bottle and honestly I prefer this to that. Now the Eau Fraiche also smells a lot like the original Issey, so if you smelled that fragrance or own it, the one from the 90s with yuzu, this smells a lot like that DNA. So this is taking the Issey Pour Homme DNA and then modernizing it, and it just really just has this amazing, beautiful, aquatic and refreshing sort of woody citrus, woody citrus aquatic, but with this very unique touch to it. And then there's also some spices, some cardamom, gaiac wood, so it has a lot of notes in its scent profile that lend itself to sort of one of those sexy autumn time fragrances, but somehow presents such a refreshing, unique, and very mass appealing aquatic fragrance. Also a cheapie. You can find this one for right around the $30 mark. I've been increasingly impressed with this one. I always get positive attention with it, and the scent profile has really grown on me. I thought it was okay, but you know, after smelling the Issey Eau Fraiche and comparing the two, this one just does such a great job of, like I said, modernizing that DNA. It takes away the yuzu, replaces it with grapefruit, but keeps it kind of rindy and green to keep in the vein of the yuzu without exactly having the same scent profile. And then it adds some added aquatic watery notes that the original had florals in the place thereof. So yeah, just a little bit more of an aquatic, modernized take on the Issey Pour Homme DNA. Really great stuff and amazing, amazing for the price of $30. And just look at that nice blue glass and the water in there. Just reminds me so much of just a poolside vibes, which is where this is great for. Now, the number 9 spot, we're going to go ahead and go with this one, which I wish I had the fragrance it was cloning. I would be recommending that one, but I haven't found a good deal on it as of right now. But this one is really an incredible offering for the price, an excellent clone. This is Maahir Legacy from Lattafa. This is a clone of Parfums de Marly Sedley. Mint and it's just like a very refreshing mint with a very creamy, sweet lavender, and then a burst of beautiful citrus that kind of reminds you of a Sprite fizzy soda, lemon lime sort of soda. So yeah, just a minty lemon lime soda with a creamy masculine lavender. A little bit of spices that make this a little bit more of a rough around the edges textural feel as compared with the original Sedley. But yeah, I really like Sedley, but I really like this one too. They each have their place, and like I said, wish I was recommending Sedley to you, but I think this is a great one as a stand-in, and for maybe 1/10 of the price, you can get this for like 35 bucks on Triple Traders. Look around, I think they also have it on Joma Shop for that price. But also really great compliment puller. I do get positive attention on this one, and you know, one of the only other reasons I would recommend Sedley is because I personally don't like these bottles. I think it's kind of gaudy, but it is quality. It's a nice heavy glass. It looks, a lot of times when I see the Middle Eastern fragrances, I think that they're plastic bottles and they just look super cheap, but when you get to hold them in the hand, they're actually pretty quality. So Lattafa's Maahir Legacy, my number 9 spot for the month of July. And the number 8 spot we're going to give to Dolce&Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense. So I really considered putting the Light Blue Forever in here. That one's grown on me a bit, but it's a newer fragrance. I don't know it as well, and I honestly, despite really liking the Forever, I still think this one is the better go-to. It's not a limited edition, so this will probably translate better. If you're seeing this video in the future, you can probably still find this one at a decent price. $60 for a 100 ml, and the 50 mls are going for the cheapy range, so easily pick this one up. You can find it at the rack stores usually. Beautiful, nice, aquatic, sea salty vibe. Also mass appealing. I had a manager at my work that wore this as a signature. Always got good reactions from the servers and the female co-workers that we had. So I have seen this one work in the wild, and I personally enjoy wearing it also. That nice sort of granular, salty, textural feel across the aquatic accord is something that's very unique to this fragrance, and just so masculine and sweet and refreshing and beautiful, beautiful for this time of the year in July. That is Dolce&Gabbana's Light Blue Eau Intense. Real classic. Okay, so the number 7 spot going to Versace's Pour Homme. Kind of an iconic summertime fragrance by now. You can find these usually for under $50, well worth the price. Riffing off of the Chanel Allure Homme DNA, this one kind of adds a little bit more of an aquatic touch on top of that, a little bit more creamy, but I personally, really enjoy this and think it's an absolute steal for the price, and also one of the top most complimented fragrances in this list. Highly recommend picking this one up, and if I'm sure you've smelled it, but if not, definitely go ahead and grab it. This is Versace's Pour Homme. Okay, let's see, that was the number 7 spot. Number 6 spot. So I actually, I'm gonna go with Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Eau de Toilette. So this is the only coconut-based fragrance in this list, and I had to have at least one of those in the month of July for that beachy vibe. Really beautiful nighttime, summer night fragrance, perfect for that occasion. You get, I think coconut, bergamot, and tonka bean are the 3 listed notes. I think there's probably a little bit more going on in here, maybe like a some kind of some more citruses than just the bergamot, and something else to sweeten it up other than the coconut. But absolutely stunning stuff. I haven't tried the Le Parfum. It's got a black gradient on the bottle and an added pineapple note, so I'm really looking forward to trying that for next July. But this is a must-have, or at least this or its flanker. One of those two are a must-have during this month for that coconut appeal. Just one of the most masculine coconut fragrances I've got my nose on, because a lot of time that note lends itself to very, like sunscreeny, feminine makeup-y style cosmetic feeling. But this one does an excellent job of keeping it nice and masculine. Even though it's sweet, it's very sensual and doesn't lean too juvenile, and I'm somebody that really, I don't dislike sweet fragrances, but they're on like some of my bottom rungs in terms of personal taste. But this one, still wows me. So that's Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Eau de Toilette. John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So this is probably one of my go-to favorite fragrances for refreshing myself in the summertime. Some of the best citrus in any of my fragrances in my entire collection. Despite being a cheapie, you can get this for like $35, but really nice presentation, nice kind of wicker basket. weaving vibe going on that you'd have on those straw hats out on the beach, or on like just you know, a wicker basket that you're using as a picnic basket or a lawn chair. Just this sort of nice aesthetic goes really well with the summertime for me. And yeah, just really nice musk, citrus, and petitgrain. The petitgrain adds this added layer of like a sharpness to it that really adds to the bright, refreshing quality that this brings to the table. But otherwise is probably one of the best white t-shirt, easy casual wear summertime fragrances that has ever hit the market. Definitely would be in, you know, my top 20 in my entire collection that I would hold on to if I had to get rid of everything else. I absolutely love this fragrance. That's John Varvatos Artisan Pure. Actually, in some ways, I probably would have ranked that higher than the next two, but we'll just go ahead and move on into the number 4 slot. I'm gonna go with this one right here, Acqua di Gio Profondo. So this is like the aquatic summertime flanker to the Acqua di Gio line. They ended up keeping this one when they were redoing the bottle design and re-releasing the Eau de Parfum and Parfum. And this one stuck around. Like I said, the summertime flanker, the most aquatic version that they have. A really nice, beautiful orange note in here as well, like a mandarin note that is just absolutely stunning. You could get Azzaro Chrome Extreme. It's inspired by DNA of this one that has the orange is more emphasized in that, and in some ways there's certain instances where I prefer it because of that added fruitiness that it has. But I think there's like a mastic note in here. I think that's a type of resin that gives this a really awesome kind of savory, salty quality, as well as some of the best, most refreshing aquatic notes in any fragrance in my collection. This one I highly recommend, and also a absolute compliment monster. One of the most, probably the most mass appealing DNA in fragrance is the Acqua di Gio DNA. So if you don't own this one, I highly recommend it as well. Okay, so we have 3 left. Number 3 slot going to Dior Homme Cologne. Kind of one of the kings of summer refreshing colognes. You know, this is like kind of the how do I want to say it, like a summer staple. You know, like you just have this or something that's in the same DNA vein in your collection for those absolute scorchers. So you can get Jimmy Choo Man Ice is a good alternative to this one. I haven't smelled Mercedes-Benz cologne, but if you see that one for a good price, because it used to be a cheapie, I hear that that one comes pretty close to this. The differences between this and Jimmy Choo Man Ice are that this just has like a little bit more of an added cooling feel to it, like something that either like geranium, juniper, berry, or mint would bring to the table. Even though none of those are listed in here, it just has this little bit extra quality of coldness that the Jimmy Choo Man Ice doesn't have. But yeah, absolute stunning stuff, and I actually on my skin get surprisingly good longevity with this, about like 5 to 6 hours. So can't recommend it enough. It's kind of like an icy glass of sweet lemonade in a bottle. That's Dior Homme Cologne. And I've yet to smell a Dior fragrance that I don't love, and they are probably, you know, like they're one brand that I would recommend blind buying fragrances from. So that's Dior Homme Cologne. Okay, the number 2 spot going to Creed Aventus Cologne. A little bit more of a refreshing take on the Aventus DNA. They took the pineapple out, but you still get a pineapple style accord from a medley of other citruses like orange. This one kind of smells a little similar to Versace Pour Homme, so you get a similar sort of refreshing orange, zesty fragrance. While that one has a little bit more of a fresh laundry vibe, this one has a little bit more of a classic like Aventus DNA with like a slight woody quality, more like citrus woody than citrus aquatic vibes. But this, yeah, just absolute stunner. I actually haven't got any compliments on this one yet, but as a wearing experience, I had to put this at the number 2 spot because it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's an easier to wear Aventus, and you know, that's really saying something, because Aventus you know, before you get tired of it from smelling it everywhere, it just has this beautiful, forceful energy to it, I would say. But yeah, so you still have that confidence boosting quality that you get from Aventus in here, but it's just a little bit more of a casual wear. And can't recommend it enough, and I would recommend getting a sample of it for sure, because I usually blind buy things. I got a sample of this and smelled it, and I knew I had to have it. So that's Creed Aventus Cologne. And then finally, rounding out for the month of July, my top pick, and a fragrance that is in my top 2 or 3 in my entire collection, that is Oceania from Roja Parfums. Now, wait around for a good deal. I see these going for sub 200 on Joma Shop from time to time, so I think that's a really good price. I ended up paying close to retail for this because after sampling it, I just absolutely adored it. What I get from this is kind of like a really nice mouth-watering like shaved ice, like a lemon shaved ice or a lemon lime shaved ice. That's kind of what I get off the top. It like makes my tongue salivate slightly because it has this slight sourness to it, and the rest of it opens up into some really beautiful florals. There's a violet note in here that kind of plays a little bit of like a center stage role, and it mingles in with some of the sweeter ingredients to create a type of powderiness. So there's almost like an iris style powderiness in here as a wearing experience, with the like that nice shaved ice sort of lemon lime citrus up at the top that carries through a good majority of the fragrance. Longevity on this is great. I get 5 to 6 hours on this as well, which is awesome for a freshie. And yeah, just dies out into some absolutely stunning woods. One, not so much of an aquatic fragrance, however, even though the name is Oceania and the presentation gives that vibe. The aquatic quality isn't really there. You get a little bit of an ozonic quality from the violet in here, but other than that, it's just like a very nice, beautiful medley of all the best qualities of summer fragrances, from the aquatics to the florals to the citruses to the woods. Just stunning, stunning composition. And like I said, wait around for a good deal, see if you can get it for sub 200. I saw Joma Shop had those prices. So that's my #1 pick for the month of July, and I have one honorable mention, and that is Blue from Therapia by Aroma. They don't list notes for this one, but the most easy comparison I could make in my collection is Roja's Oceania. That's not at all a clone, but they do share in the fact that they combine all of the better qualities of summer fragrances. So this does have hints of woods, hints of florals, hints of citruses, hints of aquatics, and it just comes together to epitomize an ideal sort of summer scent. Absolute stunning longevity on this one as well, like 7 to 8 hours, beast mode summer fragrance, and definitely recommend picking this up if you can. I made it an honorable mention just because the house is, I'm not sure if they ship worldwide, so I didn't want to put it as a full-blown recommendation, but that's $30 for this 100 ml, and I think like 18 bucks if you want to get a 30 ml. Definitely recommend checking out Therapia by Aroma's Blue also. So that was my top 10 recommendations for the month of July. Like I said, citrus aquatics, ambergris, salty notes, and tropical fruits are my main go-tos during this month. Let me know what your favorite fragrance notes and picks for this past month of July have been in the comment section down below. And as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.